Good morning, everyone. Gary Webb here, New Mexico. Yeah, I can't tell you the amount of times that ran into people at a trailhead somewhere, and they were getting ready to go on their hunt, and they discovered one of their horses didn't have a shoe. And they're miles from a farrier, uh, closest town 4 hours away, and farriers are busy, tight schedule. They pick and choose their customers. So today, and I've never been to school or anything. I've just kind of learned on my own or helpful tips from somebody like what I'm about to give you. And there's tons of stuff on the internet with some really good farriers, but a lot of it's maybe too advanced for a beginner, and they don't really give you the little tips uh, that will maybe make it a little bit easier to learn. So that's what I'm going to try to do here today. And if you haven't done this very much, it is not going to be pretty, and you're going to be slow. It's just like any other skill. Uh, you've got to do it to be good at it. And whether it's welding or roping or carpentering, you just got to learn how to do it. It's a skill you got to learn. So expect. And one quick story, like I say, it's not going to be pretty. I had a guy years ago that said he could help me and had a bunch of horses and mules to get ready for a hunt. And he said, "Well, I'm not real great at it, Gary, but I can help you a little bit, you know." And so I said, "Sure, man. Anything you can do, be helpful if I didn't got to do it." So we catch some horses, and he comes over. There's a little depression in the ground, and he turns the hose on, and runs it full of water. And I didn't say anything for a while, and he shuts it off. And I ask him, I say, "Hey, Keith, what are you doing with the water there?" And he says, "Well, that's because as soon as I'm done, it's going to be so ugly, I don't want you to see it, so I'm going to go walk them through the mud puddle to cover up this crappy job that I'm doing." So anyhow, let's get started and see if any of this might help somebody just learning. I'm taking the rear arm around. We're going to begin by just cleaning this dirt manure out of here, out of the bottom of the hoof. And my knife is not very sharp, but a real farrier, they got sharp knives and they kind of explore and carve out this sole a little bit. But most of the time I don't go to that extreme, mostly because my knife's a cotton picking dull. So I will come in here like so. Place to begin for me is down in here, and try to not get too deep. This is where people tend to overdo it. So this area, and these beat are so hard right now. I try to get something started, and then just move over a tiny bit. A lot of overlap will keep you going somewhat flat. Just little increments. Yeah, a real farrier will mow right through this, make it look way easier than it probably is for most of us. We got to start here. You want to keep your nippers straight up and down, not cocked this way, not cocked this way, and stay in that groove that you got started. Just continue around. Maybe when you're first starting, you don't want to get too deep until you get a little more confidence. But then just stay in that same groove. Little increments at a time. See how I just moved over? You could even go 1/8 of an inch when you're first starting out, or the hoof's really hard. Again, the people that are really good with it, they'll take big old bites and mow right through this. But
yeah, you're probably pretty safe to trim right where the hoof wall meets the sole. You won't get in trouble, and you'll still get them pretty short.
we're gonna just do little bits at a time. I'm gonna knock off this little piece of frog. And we've got a place to start right there, not too bad. And keep them exactly flat. I kind of tipped them a little bit there, but we'll take part of that sole off with the rasp. This right here might not have got quite as much as I needed to. It's kind of difficult to take just to show you. Well, we'll get it with the rasp. Once you get to that point, you can stand the foot up here and take a peek and look down to see how close you are. That's not too bad. The goal here is to keep the shoe flat. Sometimes they'll be a little bit bent, a little bit tweaked. This one might not be perfectly flat, might have to touch on it. But have the shoe flat and try to get the hoof flat. And if you've ridden one into camp, didn't know it had lost a shoe that's going to be all busted up and maybe dished out, kind of cup shaped like that. And in that case, if you can't get the whole entire hoof flat, if you can just get this flat and 3 points flat, just where there's no rock. Rock in a shoe is what makes it come off. So if you can just get the heels and the toes where there's no rock and there's a gap in the quarters, not a huge deal. Your farrier can fix it the next time. So when you go to rasp, if there's not frog in the way, you can keep your rasp completely, go right over the top of the frog. If the frog is protruded a little bit, you're gonna have to hit it in sections. And you might have to, if you can't go across like that, you may have to turn the rasp this way to go around that frog. So I can see I got a little bit of a high spot there. I'll just work on this. Like so.
Yeah, good sharp tools, new rasp, sharp rasp will make your life a lot easier, especially when you're learning. Save you a lot of headaches, because I mean, you're really doing more of a sanding. You're not putting a lot of down pressure. It's more like sanding or planing. So sharp tools will make all the difference in the world for you.
So every once in a while you can look at it down through there. See how you're doing. We're not too far off. And when you think you're getting kind of close, before you shape it, stick your shoe up there and push around on it a little bit. And you can see the rock. It's like a teeter-totter. I can see its pivot point on this side is right in here. Pivot point on this side is right in here. So I'll take a little bit more off those couple of spots right there. Right in there. And right in there. Sometimes it doesn't take much. So looking at this shoe, we got the rock out of it, but it's just a hair. Needs to close in a hair, it looks to me like, and maybe the heel's curled in just a touch. So we'll go to the anvil. But you could use the bumper of your truck if you didn't have one, and a claw hammer, ball peen hammer, a rock. And I use my fingers here to gauge how much I'm moving it. Like I'm barely touching that first bend in my knuckles. I don't need a whole lot. One wrap, and now it's hitting a little more. We might try. I've got a little shoe bender gizmo here that use for a little minor adjusting. But you could use an anvil, or again, sometimes if I've been on the side of the road, I've used a rock and a hammer. Whatever. You just got to remember, the more you beat and tweak on this shoe, you got to check it for flatness, because sometimes it'll bend it one way or the other. But let's see what we got here now. Alrighty. My golly, we're getting pretty close, I believe. These nails got some little etching right there. That always goes to the inside. Get these nails out of my mouth where you can understand me. And they're beveled to kick out that way. So always put this etching to the inside. Okay, way I like to do it, especially for somebody just starting out, is, again, the pros, they make this look so easy. They just wham wham it all the way around, and boom, matter of no time they're done. Take your time, get the shoe about where you want it. I set it back just a hair. Try to keeping it straight. Pin it, and I will just start a nail. Just start a nail. A few taps. And then see if that's still how I like it, which I think it probably is. I will start this other nail. And something nobody ever told me, but the lighter you tap these nails, trying to be careful, a lot of new guys, the deeper it goes. So these little light taps are penetrating. And as soon as you do sharp rasps, it wants to kick the nail out. Right here on this point. But if it doesn't, pull the nail before you hammer it all the way in. Because once you get it down in there, they're hard to get out. You'll have to pry your shoe and get it out. If you draw blood, your horse is going to let you know, or your mule. And pull that nail out. Leave that hole alone. Just use your other nails and just go on. Use them. Same here. Light taps are penetrating. Sharp ones, you can see it starting to poke out there. We're good to go. Hammer it down flush, get it set good. Twist it off. Same with this side. Hammer it down good. Twist it off. And if you've taken quite a while, your horse is tired, set their foot down. On to the next one. Some light knot, get a little bit of penetration. She's a coming out. Might have started the hard wrap a little bit soon. This one's a little bit lower than that last one, but don't get too wrapped up in it. They'll be ugly the first few times you do this. Oh. Get it. Twist her off. Twist her off. Sometimes you can tip them just a little bit to the outside. I'm going to do some light taps to begin with. Get a little better penetration. Oh. Twist her off. If you're having trouble with your nail not coming out, it's coming out too soon, or it's not coming out at all, and you've tried it a few times, it's because it's following the nail channel you've already created here. No matter using the hard wraps on it, it just wants to follow that same nail channel you've already created. So there's a couple things you can try. You can try to angle it a little bit towards the toe or a little bit towards the back to get out of that channel. And sometimes that'll get you out of a jam. The only other thing you could try, happens sometimes on the heel, is just get your claw hammer and you can cheat this bevel just a slight amount to get it to get out of that channel. Just tweak that just a little bit in the right direction. The only other thing I might mention is on the smaller hooved animals, I usually only use 3 nails, these back 3 holes, like 0.8 on down, on 1s on up. Sometimes, a lot of times, I'll put 4 nails. But anyhow, hopefully that was helpful. Now for the clinching process. I use a stand anymore because my back's not as good as it once was. And we'll come in here and you see these nails, we'll just use the rasp. Real Fair's got a little tool that'll groove that out, but you can use your rasp. And you go just till you feel or hear. You can feel and hear when you start touching the nail. And you stop.
If you don't stop, you're going to basically cut your clinches off. So don't do them too deep.
Stop. Those are pretty shallow, and I like the clinches fairly short, and they are, but I'm just going to take these sharp points off and then clean this hoof off a little bit with the rasp. Making our little notch here. Stopping as soon as I feel metal, which is pretty. Take the sharp stuff off. A lot of farriers that are really good, they'll just At this point, they will just come on with these clinchers and bend these nails over and boom, done. They're really good at it. I like to set these clinches with the basket of the rasp is what we're fixing to do, and I like to alternate it. One on this side, one on this side. Just keep going back and forth across there. It's kind of same principle as tighten the lug nuts on the tires. You just don't go around the tire like this. You tighten this one, and then you tighten this one, and then you tighten this one, and kind of do the same thing. If you had a slight amount of rock, it will help take it out. So I'll put the rasp on the back side of the nail, tap it pretty good till it starts that clinch over. Hop over here, do the same thing, down to the next one, jump back over here. I think this just really helps set the clinches a little bit tighter. Got that one. Got that one. Down to the last one on the toe. Popped off a bit. Got it started. Last one. Okay, now we're ready for the clinching pliers, and I pretty much clinch the same way, alternating them. Got that back nail. And I try to get a pretty good bite on. Got that one, hop down to the next nail. Jump over to the other side. Get that one. And we are done. Looks like not too bad a job. The nails are pretty even. Kind of mastered a basic shoeing job where you can get it to stay on. And pretty confident. Then you can expand and try to lower your heels, raise your heels, shorten your toe, work on, you know, just refine and constantly strive to do a better job where they stay on, and maybe better for your animal as well. But got to learn the basic, get it to stay on and function before you can really shoe for a balanced hoof and all that stuff. So. Cowboy shod. Walking on